Bulletcast for life.
Fuck them niggas who wait. Yeah. Nah, we soundin' sweet. Go. Fuck them niggas who hate. Duck them bitches who fake. Everybody is real and everybody two-face. Hill face. Hill face. Hill.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. Just in case you don't, I am a 25-year-old piece of gold, the California Classic, the X Factor of podcasting, the microphone messiah, Phillip Antoine, a former 11-time Bulletcast champion. But you know I never do it alone. He's my tag team partner, the Jim and my J, the Tell It to my Arn, the Stevie Ray to my Booker T. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the host of the award-winning Under the Radar, host and creator of Curveballs and Chair Shots, the first ever and current 11-time Bulletcast champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the Canadian Destroyer, BT, Brandon Tanguma. Brandon, it's Thursday. You know what that means. Actually, are you a 12-time Bulletcast champion? I don't remember. It might be 12.
It doesn't matter. As long as I'm your reigning, defending, current Bulletcast champion, that is all that matters. Phillip, I'm doing fantastic. It's another Thursday. Another edition of the Bulletcast. We're here. Once again, no AEW to talk about because they got kicked for basketball. They're going to be on Friday, so maybe next week that means we're going to pull double duty. 2 episodes we got to review, but there's still stuff to talk about.
I plan on doing a review Friday night. I think with Cindy, I think we're going to make that happen. I checked the records 12 times. BT 12. BT 12. There you go.
Tom Brady needs to watch out.
You know what I'm saying? Title might be on the line for TakeOver. It's looking nice.
Oh, because, I'm the champion. Because Phillip's not the champion, that means then.
What? A card subject to change. You already knew that was happening.
Card subject to change.
Or
when Phillip's not the champion.
Or we just leave it for Money in the Bank. Let's say Huey or I, let's say you stay the champion, but then one of us gets the briefcase and we pick some show you never watched to cash it in on.
You can do whatever you want. You cast it on a GSW show. I will be the biggest GSW mark and I will watch every single show, and I would do my homework.
Oh, okay. I'll Brandon, he would love that. The other Brandon, he would absolutely love that. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get to talk about all the wrestling news, we got to get into it real quick. HD for Life on teesprings.com, socials, hd.4.life on Twitter and Instagram, designs. Get Her Done, 1 and 2, Hurry Up, 1 and 2, Mr. Sapa, 1 and 2, H-Dog, Mother's Love, King H-Dog, H-Dog Dash to Get It, Mr. Pimpin', HD for Life, Americana, Common Sense, Soldier H-Dog, Life Safety, HD for Life Safety, Lily's Love, HD for Life, Orange and Pink, Softball Life, Reunite, Generations, Little Rena, Lil H-Dog, Explode, Show Quality 1, 2, and 3, Drinkware, Fanny Pack, Socks, Hoodies, T-shirts, Sweatpants, Tank Tops, Face masks, tote bags, mugs, pillows, beach towels, posters, blankets, phone cases, stickers, and so much more. Once again, HD for Life on teesprings.com. Give them a follow on Twitter and Instagram right now as we speak. hd.4.life. Brother. The brother's not a part of it, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Brandon, more people have been released from WWE. Some big ones. Some big names. So do you have the names?
I mean, I don't have them in front of me, but
you don't have the names in front of you.
But I remember them all because they're such big, ginormous names. Maybe one might say monstrous names.
One of them was a monster among men. I'll pull up the names right now. Let me go to the old Bulletcast. Go to the old Bulletcast page on the Instagram. Give us a follow there, guys. We do great work. Keeping in touch with all the latest news. Yeah. So. Here we go. Braun Strowman, Santana Garrett, Lana, Aleister Black, Ruby Riott, and Buddy Murphy have all been let go from WWE yesterday. Yeah. I mean, you look at some of those Santana Garrett. I mean, she's been in the game for a long time. She got with the company, I think, in 2019, so that's kind of a short tenure. But then again, the last batch releases, some people had just gotten there for like a couple months and dipped out. Lana, that's surprising that they were seeming to do some really good stuff with her. Ruby Riott, I mean, her and Liv were kind of in the conversation a little bit. Aleister Black just reappeared on TV. He was going to do the Dark Father character. Buddy Murphy, I mean, you saw what the guy could do in the feud with the Mysterios and being a disciple of Rollins. I thought we were going to do some big things for him and Braun. I mean, the guy was just in the WWE title picture. Now he's gone. Yeah.
I mean, the Braun Strowman one is the biggest name, which I wouldn't consider it the most surprising, because if you kind of look at it, I mean, he was just at WrestleMania, he was just at Backlash where he was in the title match, but kind of besides that, he wasn't being used a whole lot. And it was kind of weird. Like, they're not using Braun. I wonder what's exactly going on. And so when he gets released, apparently he was due a lot of money through 2023, 2024, something like that. So the one that kind of strikes me the most is the Aleister Black one, because as you said, he just returned. They put a lot of time and effort seemingly into those, what's it called? Dark Father vignettes. And they were going to repackage him and put him up against Big E. He was just, like the closing angle on SmackDown, and then he gets the boot. So that one is very interesting to me. And I think Aleister Black is someone who should be looked at companies around the world. And all these wrestlers will be fine. They'll all land on their feet. The world is opening up. There's going to be opportunities. Braun Strowman's one of the people who may have gone after the indie talent a tad bit. So now he's going to have to be working the indie scene, which might be a little fun to see. But I mean, if you want to run them one by one, and we can kind of talk about where you see them all landing. But I think if I'm AEW, honestly, the person I think I would look at the most would be Ruby Riott, because I think Ruby Riott is so talented, and the women's division is kind of, it's on the come up a little bit, but I think she's one of those people who was never given a fair shot, and she is so talented.
Well, she is. I mean, I forgot what her indie name was back in the day, but look, man, I look at it like this. AEW, get Lana. Obviously, Miro's there. That just makes sense. That literally just makes sense. Miro and CJ, it could be a fun thing, Miro going out there just dominating people and then hanging out with his beautiful wife after he murders somebody in the ring. I mean, come on, that works. Plus, he has that whole little thing with Kip, so there could be a mixed tag match of Miro and Lana versus Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, which that could be interesting. Throw it on, I don't know, episode of Dark Elevation or Rampage. Ruby Riott, what's the Ring of Honor women's division doing? Everybody immediately jumps to AEW or NWA. What about these other women's divisions? Hell, put her in Impact. Put her in Impact. I think that would be fun. I'd love to see Ruby Riott at Impact mixing it up with Jordan Grace and Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. I want to see that. Or you can go to the Ring of Honor women's division. There's Angelina Love. There's Mandy Leon. Quinn McKay, I think she's getting ready to start doing some in-ring work there. There's always Maria Kanellis. Like, there are things we can do where we don't need to automatically go to AEW. She could pop up in the NWA. I wouldn't mind seeing that. We go to Tommy End. He'll be fine. He's going to be fine. I mean, G1. Or no, actually, no. That's coming up pretty quick. So, I mean, I could see him popping up in New Japan doing some stuff. I could see him popping up in MLW. I could see him just having a cup of coffee in different places. I think he'll be fine. Buddy Murphy, that guy's a star, man. He's something special. Put him in the X division. But him versus Josh Alexander, him versus TJP. Hell, on an episode of MLW, Myron Reed versus Buddy Murphy, or Leo Rush versus Buddy Murphy on NJPW, their Strong US show. Something like that, man. Him versus Tom Lawler, give me that. Santana Garrett, she's a veteran of the indie scene, so I could see her popping up in maybe the NWA. I think that would be something good for her. And then you look at Braun, I say go to Impact. And here's why. Because he could be what Matt Morgan was supposed to be. Remember the Blueprint? He could be what Matt Morgan was supposed to be over there. A big guy who, I mean, I think he's this isn't a knock to Matt Morgan. I love that dude. But I think Strowman is a better worker and a better athlete than Matt Morgan. So I mean, him, like, Strowman versus Moose, come on, man. Come on, dude. That's money. And especially with the crowds starting to return, I think we can do some stuff like that. Like, let's not just say, "Oh, go to AEW, go here." Let's do something different, man.
Braun Strowman, I think, is the one question mark out of all these wrestlers, because I think all of them will be fine. They're all going to land on their feet, whether it's AEW, Impact, MLW, New Japan, Stardom, wherever the hell they decide to go. We're going to see these wrestlers again. I think the one is Braun. We haven't seen him outside of WWE, but he has drastically improved. I mean, when he made his debut with the Wyatt family, never really did anything in NXT. He shows up green as Goose, you know what? And he actually got really good. I mean, if you go back to the WrestleMania Backlash, I was praising him about like the athletic things he was doing. I mean, he might have been too athletic for his own good, doing some, sentons off the apron and stuff like that. But I mean, I kind of agree with you. Like, if Braun wants to go somewhere, really anywhere, I mean, if he wants to go to New Japan and just be an absolute gaijin monster, I would be very interested to see what he could do.
Be on his Vader-ish.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of, for the most, what is he, like legit 6'10", 6'9"? So he's going to tower over pretty much anybody on any roster, really, except for maybe the Impact roster because they got Big Cass and Moose. But for the most part, he's going to be a giant wherever he goes. And
could you imagine like Minoru Suzuki and Tomohiro Ishii laying it in on Braun and him returning the favor, giving them back those receipts? That would be amazing. That would be cool.
Him and No Way Jose in New Japan would just be a barn.
Oh my, you in this No Way. Look, I could see what's it called? I could see Tommy End showing up at Bloodsport. I think that would be interesting. I think that would be cool.
I am so excited to see what Tommy End can do because he was someone who came in on NXT UK. I literally had no idea who he was. I heard good things about him, and then when he was in NXT, the champion, he was fantastic. Put on great matches. I mean, when I went to War Games in LA, his match with Johnny Gargano, it had no right being that good for me personally because it was a 2-ring setup. I was on the floor. It was on the far side of the ring, so I could barely see what was going on, but I still was super invested. I still loved that match. And I mean, we'll talk about a promo pick later, but he was never really someone who got a chance really to cut a stellar promo in WWE. He doesn't have to because of the character and the kind of way he carries himself. But I think him and Ruby Riott are the ones I'm looking at to see what exactly they can do on the indie scene with a little bit of their WWE cachet. And who knows, maybe in a year from now, some of these people might return. I think Lana will just go wherever Miro goes, which makes a lot of sense. But I think everyone else, maybe Santana Garrett, I mean, she might be a little too ahead of her time where she kind of peaked before the women's revolution. So she didn't really have like a fair shot in WWE like mid-early 2010s. But I think all these wrestlers are going to be fine.
Yeah, man. I want to see. And then you have to look at it like this because people are burying WWE like, oh my God, I hate this company for what they're doing, releasing these people. But you're the same people that complained because they were hoarding talent. You know, you were the same people complained because they signed up all the indie darlings. You're the same people that complained about that, and now you're upset because they've released these people. And look at it this way, man, Brandon. Now you went like this may sound selfish or whatever, but I'm looking at it as a podcast or as a media outlet, and all other media outlets, they know they're thinking about this, whether they've said it publicly or not yet. We have access to these people now. Think about the stories that these people could tell on podcasts. So what was your first interaction like with Vince? You know, stuff like that. You know,
as soon as Aleister Black got released, he went on him and Zelina Vega's Twitch and did like a however long Twitch stream and just answer questions and was super respectful.
Yeah, and you see, look, that's the thing. That's how you handle a release. You don't bury the company unless some really terrible ish happened to you, then you can voice about it. He didn't bury the company. It's like EC3. He should have buried the company, but he said it didn't work out. It's time to move on. Aleister Black said he's thankful for Paul, thankful for Hunter, thankful for Vince. It didn't work out. It came out of left field. I'm looking to do what's next. And look, we're gonna know how
you don't want to burn your bridges because that might be the only bridge there. And we're right now on Raw, Lashley, McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, all world champions who were released and came back. So, I mean, just because they're gone now doesn't mean they won't come back and succeed.
Exactly, man. You have to look at it like that. And I'm looking at it like we're going to see what these people can really do. They're going to have creative control. They're going to have creative freedom. Let's see if they truly succeed. Let's see if it wasn't just the company holding them back. Let's see if they can really stand up to the plate and hit a home run. Let's see if they can do it.
One last thing. This has been talked about, I think, more than ever because of the releases, not only these ones, but kind of because they've been recurring on the, every other week, it seems like. Is WWE and Vince cutting fat so they can sell?
No. No. And I like how people are starting to talk about, I heard Sam Roberts speak about this. Everybody's become a business expert now because, that's the only reason why they have to release people because they're going to sell. Look, man, when Vince goes, and hopefully it's quite a long time from now, but eventually it is coming. When he shuts his eyes, Stephanie, Shane, and Hunter, they're getting the company. Look at it. You don't look what happened to TNA. A major company just bought the thing and it went to crap. It went to crap. You need people who know wrestling in charge at the helm, who are involved with this for 20, 25, 30 years, or in the case of Shane and Stephanie, their entire lives. You remember back in the Ruthless Aggression era, Stephanie was a part of the creative team, and that stuff was good. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they're selling. Triple H, Stephanie, and Shane, they're going to get the company when Vince is gone. That's a fact.
So one of the podcasts I listened to, someone asked this question, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh no, there's no way Vince is going to sell. But then now after the release, not saying like it's a definitive fact that because these releases is the reason why they're selling, but if you just kind of look at it from like a macro perspective, Vince getting up there in age, he bought it from his father. And I always was kind of like you, like he wanted to keep this a family business. He quote unquote bought it from his father. He'll give it to his kids, whether it's Stephanie or Shane or both or whatever. But I can also see him being like, he's always goal driven and wants to do like the next big thing. And for Vince, like what's bigger than quote unquote selling out to NBC, Fox, Disney, Amazon, whoever the hell wants to buy it for $1 billion plus. And he can just sit back and be like, I did all this. I took it from, this little local federation to this global phenomenon worth billions of dollars. And here's my giant Scrooge McDuck pile of cash around me. Not saying it's going to happen, but I think right now, for me personally, it's kind of like the most I've ever felt like it could actually happen.
I don't know about all that. I don't want to believe it. But then again, stranger things have happened. But like I said, I don't want to believe that. I believe that Triple H, Stephanie, and Shane will get the company when Vince is gone.
And just because he sells it doesn't mean they can't be a part of the company. They can still be shareholders, and they can like quote unquote run the company, but they just won't own the company.
Well, yeah, but then okay, but then again, you look at the other companies that owned TNA, and Jeff Jarrett was still kind of involved, but it wasn't what it once was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, what's peak Impact, money wise?
We'd have to get somebody on and tell us about that. What's Dixie Carter doing? Call her up.
I don't got Dixie Carter's number, unfortunately.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I don't got those kind of connections yet.
Oh, I see. The Usos defeated the Street Profits in a thriller on SmackDown.
They did. The Usos have been reunited. They had a long match. I think overall that like lasted almost the entire hour if you put in segments and entrances in the match itself. And the Usos win. They beat the Street Profits, continuing on with the Roman Reigns, family drama. I'm not saying they like rush to have the Usos be the tag, be a tag team, but they're back together seemingly right now. But who knows how long this actually will last?
Yeah, that promo they cut beforehand, I mean, that reminded me of like peak 2017 Usos when they were having that feud with the New Day on SmackDown, bro. That's what that reminded me of. Welcome back to the penitentiary, Brandon. Are you excited?
I always like the Usos delivery, and they're from San Francisco, so I gotta represent the hometown boys. And I mean, I love how they come across. They talk street. They talk like the younglings would. If I'm trying to date myself,
they use urban terminology,
and it doesn't seem forced.
Yeah, it's. Like it was like Ricochet back in NXT. He would be like, "Yo, cuz, like, bro, like, hold up." He would say stuff like that. Didn't seem forced. Just seems like how they really talk. And what is what was the old expression? The best characters are yourself. Turn up to 11. Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great match. Can't wait to see the Usos retain or regain that gold. and become 7-time tag team champions. Brandon, maybe we should have a Bulletcast tag team title. I've been thinking about that.
No more titles. No more titles.
One more time. Just the one?
Yes.
Just the what about a trivia title? I've thought about that.
Until I lose it, and then we get more titles.
I thought, what about a trivia title? I've thought about that. Would you be opposed?
You just want me to hoard all the titles. I'll look like Kenny Omega.
You could be the first person I have a picture where I'm hoarding more titles of Kenny Omega. I have to find it. You could be the first person in history to be the Bulletcast heavyweight champion and the trivia champion.
I mean, that's just a foregone conclusion.
Oh.
You bring everybody. You bring you, Cindy, Baby Huey, the other guy, Young Boy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of
Jimbo, but just bring them all. Just bring them, line them up.
Smoke them all.
Okay, all right. Outside of the ring,
get Adam Blampier to host it.
Adam Wall. I thought he was a controversial figure. Is he no longer controversial?
Well, apparently, you're not in the internet enough because he hosts Trivial Quizzlemania for like a year now.
Really? I had no idea.
Not a big Wrestle Talk guy.
I'm not.
Me neither. But here it is. DMCA.
Apparently, if it's up, then it's stuck. Obviously, that's up by Cardi B. Apparently, she's going to be hosting SummerSlam this year. After the last celebrity that appeared in WWE, I mean, I'm not opposed to. I mean, she obviously, I don't think she'll wrestle, but her over-the-top personality, mixing it up with, I don't know, like a Miz, I think that'd be something interesting. Shout out to Bad Bunny. He was on what's that show called with Jay-Z and LeBron?
The Barbershop.
Yeah, I mean he put over the business. Shout out to Bad Bunny. Got my respect. I'm looking to hit that concert when it comes out here. I don't know.
San Jose?
I'll have my Google Translate on while it's going down. Yes, sir.
I will say, I don't know if it's the WWE influence, but ever since Cinco de Mayo, I've been listening to a lot more Bad Bunny and urban Latino music.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but what are your thoughts about Cardi B bringing her Bodak Yellow to WWE?
I'm not super opposed to it. I know everyone, if a celebrity comes to the mix, they're like, "Oh, we don't want it," blah 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 blah. But with Bad Bunny, it showed that if someone cares about it and they actually put forth the effort, then it actually will be worthwhile. Say the same thing about Ronda Rousey. But I mean, Cardi B is a different personality. She's so over the top. Sometimes she can, even if she cares about something, it can maybe come across that she doesn't care. And the theme song of SummerSlam is apparently up. So that's kind of like one hint. I'm not saying they planned this out a year in advance, but she did have that little spat with Lacey Evans a couple months ago. She did kind of bury it a little bit by saying, she hasn't like watched in forever and she knows like Booker T and like, those type of people. But I mean, she's such a big star that it's worth it. I don't care what kind of negative press the IWC thinks about it. She's Cardi B. She's big. I would say she's bigger than Bad Bunny, and like Bad Bunny's ginormous. So I guess the business.
Over the last like 4 years, she's really climbed to superstardom. And like, I would pop if she cut somebody off by saying, "Oh," I would pop if she did that. I'm not gonna lie. It would be just for like a night or two. So like, who really cares? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care as long as it's not like super dumb. I mean, I'll still probably chuckle at it, but
absolutely.
I'm one of those people that I understand it's a business, and if you can get Cardi B, Bad Bunny, Drake, if you can get someone like that, like
bro, if they got Drake, oh come on. If they got the artist of the decade, I don't care where that show is, I'm flying to go see it. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I don't think I've ever heard Drake drop any wrestling bars, so
I
don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm pretty sure Drake has dropped some wrestling bar. Wait, no, that was Lil Wayne. Never mind. He said he was as big as Andre the Giant in one song. I forgot. I don't know. I'm sure. I'm sure they can get Drizzy. I mean, that's probably why they keep Wale around, because he's such a huge wrestling fan.
Could have got Doom. R.I.P.
Yeah. Maxwell Jacob Friedman wants Britt Baker in the Pinnacle. He was asked in an interview about adding a female member. He said, "There's only one person I want, and that's the Doctor, DMD." What were your thoughts? How would you feel about Britt Baker being in the Pinnacle?
It would make sense. You got the top singles guy, the mid card singles guy, the tag team, and you would, I guess, want to put a woman in there just to kind of round it out. And Britt Baker, I mean, she seems like an ideal candidate for the character she's playing right now. But as I said in the pay-per-view recap, she's going to be a babyface, and I don't see the Pinnacle turning heel or turning babyface anytime soon. I don't think Britt Baker is a good fit for them long term. Like, yeah, she can. Maybe this is how you kind of keep her heel if you want to put her in the Pinnacle. But looking at the women's division, I mean, Jade Cargill, I think she would fit great in there. I know we didn't really talk about it, or I didn't talk about it on Curveballs and Chair Shots, but she seemingly like actually has representation now, even though she didn't want representation, and she got like the lowest level person to get. But I think Jade, the way she carries herself, could be like a great fit in the Pinnacle.
That's an interesting take. I think they would want Britt because she has the title, and they could say, "Oh, we have some gold here," you know. So I don't know. We'll see. On to some really interesting news. An interview with Drake Younger, Drake Warts, whatever. I think Warts is the real name, and Younger's the gimmick name. Former WWE referee and indie darling for quite some time, especially out here in the Bay Area. He did an interview with the Fireside Chat. I think that's the name of the show. And Marcus Mack, the owner of APW, he put it out there, and he said, listen for yourself to get a true understanding of who this guy is. And it did not go well. He threw it out there on Twitter. They lost quite a few followers. He threw it on his personal Facebook. What are your thoughts, Brandon?
So I'll sit here and I will blatantly say I didn't listen to the article, or I didn't watch the entire video or anything like that. But going off of everything he's done in the past, what I've seen of him and what he's done, I definitely can understand why people are upset. And though, I mean, it's also kind of like the brashness that APW had about the caption about it. We know Marcus, we know kind of how he comes across and how he talks. And so it's not surprising that he's going to stick behind his guy like that. And I saw if he was a racist, then we would know. But just because you don't pull a Hulk Hogan doesn't mean you can't have racial. It's not everyone who is, biased or has preconceived notions and have bad racial tendencies might not consider themselves or see themselves as an actual racist. So that's the least of his issues. There's so many other things that he talked about and he's been out forth with and everything like that. And being that we are in the Bay Area, maybe the most liberal place in the country, if you're going to try to bring him back and put him over, I don't think that's going to come across well.
Yeah, man. I mean, the guys said he doesn't support Black Lives Matter. Then it's in the APW Twitter bio. I'm like, oh, okay, I think what's going on. Marcus wants to stick by a buddy of his that he's known for quite some time. Brandon repping the OG Bulletcast shirt I just saw. This isn't on video, but if you know, you know. If you've been with us since that time,
one of two in the world.
One of two in the world, baby. We have a very select. I have the first ever Bulletcast hoodie. The first and only. Yes, sir. I mean, going back to that, man, I was just like, oh my God, what are we doing? I don't know, man. I have let some people go out of my life for things that weren't even as severe as not severe. Severe. Yeah. Severe. Is that the word? No. Severe. Is that the? Yeah. Severe. That's the word. I've let people go out of my life for things that weren't as nearly as severe as the things that Drake Younger has done because I'd rather job than let my morals expire. That's a Wale bar for those of you that don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see the attendance rate at that first show back. And who knows? Younger might be a referee on the show. That's a possibility.
I don't think it would affect the attendance unless you outright advertise that he's going to be there. Then maybe it'll. But it's the first show back. People are going to want to go there, and maybe not everybody knows exactly. But when it comes to indie shows, you're going to get a lot of smart fans, and they know exactly what happened, and it runs the risk of taking over the show for the worst. So you definitely don't want to put him in a main event match because it's just going to completely derail the show.
Yeah, that's gonna be something interesting. When they run, are you gonna go?
I mean, I guess I have to now. Got to see exact. I'm going to talk about this controversy. I got to see what's going on firsthand.
Gotta be there for history, right?
Mm-hmm. And I will say, like, my first ever APW show was at the garage for the Roland Memorial show.
And Drake, he had that ladder match, right?
And yeah, Drake Younger was there, ladder match. I was like, man, this dude's cool. Followed him on Twitter, followed him up to WWE, and then we get to the election, and I start seeing him like some things, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And then it kind of just drastically like keeps getting more and more QAnon-y, and I was like, okay, it's time for me to cut ties, and I just unfollowed him. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, Younger was one of my favorites at the garage, man. He had that feud with Dave Dutra for the internet title, and then I popped in for that ladder match, and it was so cool, man, to see a ladder match in that confined small space. Like they were doing some cool ish, man. I mean, I love APW. It's the longest.
And in the main event, Timothy Thatcher just carried this absolute trash wrestler to a pretty damn good 30-minute draw.
Who was the? Oh, okay. That's it. Yeah. I mean, I love APW, man. It's the longest wrestling promotion here in Cali, and I almost convinced my grandmother to give them thousands of dollars so I could train to become a wrestler. Yeah, so I love APW. It was just kind of a step back and a shot to the gut, and it's like, dang, man. Man, why would you do that? But moving on from that, let's go to some inside of the ring stuff. Ricky Morton with his son Kerry won some tag team championships. I believe it was a few weeks ago. I forget the promotion, but it was in the South. Congratulations, man. Ricky Morton still collecting tag team gold all these years later.
Shout out Robert Gibson, who has a son named Brandon, because when I went to go meet him, he drunkenly told me the story about his son's also named Brandon. So there you go.
Maybe Brandon Gibson and his dad can challenge Kerry and Ricky for the titles.
Maybe book it.
Or yeah, I mean, what are we talking about? Ricky and Kerry versus Dominic and Ray. That's the real money.
Book it.
I mean,
Canadian destroyers everywhere.
Absolutely.
We didn't even talk about Sting bust out a Canadian destroyer. Everyone's doing it these days.
It was the code red. It was a sunset flip. It wasn't a Canadian destroyer.
That's pretty much the same thing.
No. The Canadian Destroyer is a flipping pile driver. The sunset flip does not involve a pile driver. You got to know the history of the movie.
All right, Excalibur, you nerd.
Yeah, I'm not out here yelling Arihara moonsault or anything like that. I mean, come on, man.
Or knowing dumb facts like Neville's actually from England and not Wales.
Oh, and Newcastle upon Tyne.
Pretty much the same thing, right?
I don't want to offend anyone. NWA When the Shadows Fall. That is this Saturday. You can see matches like what are the matches there?
Trevor Murdoch challenging for the NWA title against
Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis. I was gonna almost say Magnus.
Mr. Mickey James.
Mr. Nick Aldis.
Mr. Aldis. Mr. Aldis. All right, yeah. You can see Serena Deeb defend the NWA Women's World Title against Camille. You can see the War Kings, Thomas Lattimore and Chris Adonis, a.k.a. Chris Masters, versus the tag team champions of JR Kratos and Aaron Stevens. Shout out Kratos, bro. You can see JTG versus Fred Rosser, who was the former Darren Young. Tyrus, remember Brodus Clay's challenge was going up against the Pope in a non-title match. Pope is TV champion over there. The End versus Mecha Wolf and Bestia 666 going up against some other guys I don't even know their names. And you can also see Thunder Rosa and Melina versus Taryn Terrell and Kylie Ray. So yeah, that's a packed show. I may tap in. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on from that, a TBS title could be in the works. Yes, Tony Khan has expressed some interest about creating a secondary women's championship as opposed to the TNT titles for the men, something for the women. Not a lot of places do that. They normally just have one woman's title, unless you're WWE. Then you have, of course, the NXT Women's Championship, but nothing on a secondary level, nothing of like an IC level. What would be your thoughts about that?
No new titles.
No more titles. The trios title's coming though.
They barely have enough for a top women's title.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Well, I mean, with all these releases, what if all those women just go over to AEW? Then they need something to fight for, right? Right? Yeah, I'm going to wait and see.
I mean, Sheeta, how many actual TV matches did Sheeta actually have this year?
Not a whole lot. All right, Josh Alexander versus TJP 60-minute Iron Man match for the X Division title. I believe that's tonight. I'm excited. Brandon, will you tap in?
Oh, of course, Philip. I watch everything that has ever existed in the world.
You told me you hate Impact Wrestling.
I didn't.
You told me that it was utter garbage.
That is not. I did not say that.
You told me that you thought it was utterly disgusting.
I will not take this Impact slander.
You told me you would rather watch Reno Scum matches than watch Impact. That's what you told me.
Okay, that's okay. This is where he's just straight up lying if I said something like that.
What? I have often said I'd rather watch Great Khali matches than watch Will Ospreay. I've said that, and I hate the Great Khali.
Josh Alexander versus TJP should be a fantastic match.
TJP, friend of the show.
Yep, friend of the show, giving us great content, going 60 minutes on the Bulletcast.
Yeah, that first time, yeah, man. So he's conditioned for it. That was great, man. Moving on to this day in wrestling, Raw on this day in 2002, Steve Austin beats Ric Flair. Not to mention HBK joined the NWO. You kind of forget that even happened. SmackDown on this day in 2003, Tajiri kicked somebody in the face because that's what he was doing back then. One Night Stand 2007, you have Bobby Lashley beating Mr. McMahon to become ECW champion. John Cena versus Great Khali for the WWE title, and Batista versus Edge for the World Heavyweight title, and so much more. SmackDown on this day in 2014, Xavier Woods dressed up in the red, white, and blue to pay homage to his Consequences Creed character. The Blade, he's 41 years old, and Jade Cargill, only 29. A long way to go.
Happy birthday, Jade Cargill, the newest member of the Pinnacle. You heard it here first, folks.
Because when you're in the Pinnacle, you're what?
On top.
Hey. All right. Moving on from that. Oh, my God. I thought he disappeared, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, well, here we go. Let's get into it. So, Hootie Who 420. How do you waste Thank you. How do you waste talent like Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black? I don't bloody understand. Well, we already talked about that, bud. Let's see what else we got here. Nigerian Prince. Phil, I heard your boy Rosenberg is dropping an album on Friday. You tapping in? Of course. I think what's the name? I think it's Real Late or Open Real Late. I think that's the name of the album. I've heard little snippets from Rosenberg's posted on his story. Actually, let me go to Rosenberg. Let me go to his page right now. Let me see what the official name of this is. Because I'm excited. Brandon, you tapping into the Rosenberg album, bro?
Oh yeah, of course. And I can't wait for the Wade Keller indie rock album. It's gonna be great.
You serious?
Yeah, so serious.
Is that really happening?
And then Dave Meltzer's coming out with a little reggae type EP.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Also, the album is Real Late. Is dropping on Friday, and apparently he's got some he's got some hitters on there, man. We're gonna have to do a review.
Where's your boy Drake at? He said he was dropping an album in January, then he tears his ACL or something like that, and now it's early June, and we haven't heard a damn thing.
Well, that's why he's dropping these little songs or whatever. Have you heard "Seeing Green" with Wayne and Nikki? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
Yo, it
was all right.
I know.
He dropped an album or a mixtape where it was just songs from like 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, you're talking about the Chicago freestyle or the demo tapes?
Yeah, Beam Me Up, Scotty, or whatever the hell the name is.
Look, man.
I was listening to it. I was like, you know what? I've heard like all of these songs. What the hell?
Seeing Green, Wayne dropped some bars on that. Take my Balenciaga mask off. I thought Nikki did some good bars on there, so it's interesting, man. But I'm definitely listening to Real Late on a Friday when it drops. I can't wait for that. Jack of all trades. Guys, when releases happen, when it's a certain talent or talents, I question why they were let go. More could have been done with them. But I don't trash the company when it happens because those people will land on their feet. That's true, man. You know, if they are truly the star that we were perceived for them to be in WWE, then they will become quasi, possibly an even bigger star or quite a big star on the indie scene or wherever they land up. It's just that simple. And Brad is Day X.
Mr. X.
I honestly don't know what to say about the latest group of releases. According to everything I've seen, this was a last-minute decision type thing. It's frustrating and makes you wonder if anyone will be left. How can you build up new stars when there's nobody there? It makes my heart hurt thinking about the wasted potential. Look, man, there are a lot of talented people left there. Let's see what Angel Garza, he's still in play. Let's see what he can do. Let's see what Drew Gulak can do. You know, there are still some very talented people on the WWE roster and payroll that I think can do some good stuff. Moving on from that, he also says, should we all be worried that more people will suddenly lose their jobs, or has the bloodshedding subsided for now? I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. So what's the over-under on all of these people showing up in AEW with their own copyrighted music that Tony Khan spared no expense to buy for them? I have no idea. I don't know. Apparently CM Punk has called out all the cuts from WWE. Have you heard Punk talk about this?
I think he tweeted some things. He tweeted a GIF about something, but I didn't understand what it meant. But I was trying to think of the over-under. So how many people got released? 5 or 6?
Yeah. Six.
So if I set it at 2.5, what are you taking?
Honestly, I don't even know. Well,
I think Lana's like a done deal.
Yeah.
Ruby Riott, I maybe would lean towards no, even though I said I really want to see her there. Santana Garrett, probably not. Aleister Black, I hope so, but I don't exactly know. Maybe he does something else. And then Braun Strowman is the wild card. So it'll be fun to see in 90 days to see what happens.
It will all be fun to see in 90 days. All right, we're going to go over to the fan mail. Brandon and I actually got Raw for this one. So Drew McIntyre defeats Kofi Kingston in a very good match. He will go on to face Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell for the WWE Championship yet again. This needs to be the end of the feud. The beautiful women that accompany Lashley and MVP. I'm all for it. I want to sit in. I want to be invited to the kickback, to the party, to the function, whatever they're doing. Look, this needs to be the last time this happens. Lashley just needs to beat him, and Drew needs to move on. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you really go from here, because outside of McIntyre, they haven't built up really any credible top tier talent. So unless they bring in Keith Lee or they bring someone else up, I don't know where they would go. Maybe Finn Balor, but I kind of want to see Finn take on Roman more than anything, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, the match itself was really good. I like the promos that each one of them cut. Drew leaning a little bit more on the heel side, going up against Kofi, and Kofi, I think, cut another stellar singles promo, which kind of shows he might be in a tag team and he might not be doing that much, but he still is talented enough to given an opportunity more consistently than what he's been given.
Yes, sir. Finn versus Roman, the prince versus the head of the table, the tribal chief. I like that. We'll have to talk about that some other time. There was another beat the clock challenge. If Nikki Cross lasted the 2 minutes, she would win. Since when did that happen? Since when was that a thing?
Nikki Cross is just a superstar now after lasting 4 minutes with whatever.
I mean, what happened with Rhea Ripley, I didn't care, but I mean, this is Charlotte Flair. This is the queen. This is royalty. So Cross defeats Flair, I guess. Look, we're just leading to the inevitable. We're just leading to Charlotte once again becoming the champion that we all need, that we all know and love. I feel safer when Charlotte Flair is champion.
I have no idea what they're doing with Rhea Ripley. She shows up, she's obviously a replacement for Charlotte against Asuka, and then she just is kind of there. She doesn't really have any characteristics. She doesn't, I mean, even NXT, she wasn't the most charismatic, in-depth character, but at least there was something there for her, and you heard her talk and everything like that. But on Raw, it's she shows up, she's young, and she's a champion. That's pretty much what her character is. I think on the graphic it said Rhea Ripley, just 24 years old, and that's it. Yeah,
she's young and she's the champion.
Storytelling.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of storytelling, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle have been doing some pretty interesting storytelling. Randy with the new goatee and mustache, love it, love the look. Randy, love it. Yeah, he has a match with Xavier Woods, pretty solid match. Ends it with the bro Derek.
They've had some good interactions with Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. I've kind of was rolling my eyes at the beginning, but I have kind of come along to the arcade bro. I think Randy Orton has kind of leaned more into the comedy side, even though he's being the straight man. It's fun, and it actually gives some character development and something for Riddle to do. And in the mid card, it's actually not a intriguing, fascinating, in-depth storyline by any means, but they're given 10 to 20 minutes of television time. And back-to-back weeks, Woods has a pretty good match with both of them. And, the little backstage interactions they have are a little comical. And all in all, it's good. Can't fill 3 hours of it, unfortunately. So, not everything is going to be hit out of the ballpark on Raw.
Yeah. Reginald defeats Shayna Baszler with a roll-up. He was flipping all over the place.
Now, I know if you just look at the results, everyone's be like, oh my God, why is Reggie beating Shayna? They're burying her, which, yeah, Shayna probably should have beat Reginald. But if you watch the match, she was in control for the most part. Reggie pulled out a surprise body slam and some things like that. But for the most part, Shayna was there and she was supposed to win. But we get a great distraction finish with some fire breathing out of the turnbuckles. And Shayna gets scared and she gets rolled up on and she loses.
I thought Kane was coming back for a second. Maybe
Kane has reincarnated into Lily.
That would be a new level to the story. I'm a fan. All right, Brandon, NXT. We don't normally talk about it.
Oh my gosh, we're actually talking about NXT. Well, good thing I actually watched it this week. But we start off with a triple threat match with Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, and Kyle O'Reilly. They go, I don't even know, 20 minutes. This was the opening match. They go pretty long. And then what happens at the end of it? We just get a DQ finish in a triple threat match when there should not be any DQs because Adam Cole returns. He throws a temper tantrum. He beats up on everybody. He hits everyone with a chair, and then everyone's just laid out and they're crying and they're all laid up in the whatever you call it, the trainer's room. An hour later, Adam Cole then comes back out, even though he was escorted out of the building in the beginning. He cuts a promo. Karrion Kross comes out. They go back and forth, and it gets announced that there will be a fatal 5-way match with all 5 of these men. And even though William Regal was very angry at Adam Cole, he just agreed to the terms.
Yes, because he's Adam Cole. Look, man, this promo was good. Adam Cole said they did all this stuff to make you feel special. The lighting, the wife accompanying you to the ring, the music. All they got to do for me is ring the freaking bell. This was a Shawn Michaels 90s promo. It was like Shawn cutting the promo to Sid, bro. That's honestly what this felt like. Because Karrion Kross, honestly, he's all right. He's good, but I'm not like, oh my God. You know what I mean? I'm sure people felt the same way about Sid back in the day, but this was a Shawn 90s promo, hands down. I loved it. Adam Cole, he's a special talent, man. He is a very special talent.
This was a damn good babyface promo by Adam Cole. The problem is he's a heel. He's going up against Karrion Kross, who is kind of a face, but he's also kind of a heel. And in this 5-man match, the only clear babyface is Kyle O'Reilly. And even he has his issues with his whole cool Kyle persona, which I find cringy. I agree. The promo itself was really good from Adam Cole. He ran down Karrion Kross and he was making all these kind of legitimate points, calling him overrated. And he's a special one, yada, yada, yada. But then it's he's a heel speaking the truth. And a heel speaking the truth turns out to be a babyface. So the story, kind of the way to get there, as I kind of explained with the DQ finish and Cole leaving and then coming back, it didn't make a whole lot of sense for me. But the performance from Cole was fantastic. The match should be really good. It should just be all over the place and yada, yada, yada. I don't know who takes the fall. I would say Gargano, because I think all the other 4 guys need to be protected. But I mean, I had issues with it, but I know Phillip loves himself some Adam Cole, so he looks past all that.
Baby.
We get a cruiserweight title match. Kushida takes on the debuting Carmelo Hayes. Kushida gets the win. And, Carmelo, he impresses in his debut with Santos Escobar leaving the cruiserweight division and maybe Swerve Scott on the outside. But they need to introduce some new cruiserweight talent. And Carmelo getting the Zoe Stark treatment, getting a little hyped debut, but then he just ultimately loses in the debut.
The former Christian Casanova. Carmelo, hey, that guy, he has a look. The theme song's cool. The gear's cool. He's athletic. I mean, he should be for being a cruiserweight, but hey, man. Yeah, I could see some things for this, man. I think at some point down the line, Carmelo Hayes will become the NXT Cruiserweight Champion.
I could see that. Someone who I think should be a cruiserweight champion, but isn't probably going to be, is Jake Atlas. He didn't put it on the script, but I'm going off the script because we got to show love to our boy Jake Atlas. He actually got a win over LA Knight, 2 wins in a row. He beat Cameron Grimes last week, so good for him. And it looks like they're building towards LA Knight and Cameron Grimes taking on each other for a shot at the $1 million title or Ted DiBiase's approval. So, and they also gave Jake Atlas a win on day 1 of Pride Month, even though they kind of say he's gay, but they don't outright acknowledge that he's gay. So good job, WWE, for being inclusive, but not really.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
How are they not really inclusive?
I mean, they want to take, they're taking credit for Jake Atlas being gay, but when it comes to the announcers and however they portray him or his story, they don't actually say that he's gay.
You can't take credit for somebody being gay. What?
They're not acknowledging him being gay.
That has nothing to do with the story.
Well, when you bring him in for the Cruiserweight tournament, you put him in front of a rainbow flag, a rainbow wall, and he says he's going to fight for all the different people out there, but yet you don't actually say what he's talking about.
Okay, dude, Finn Balor had some rainbow colors on his tights for a little bit. So I mean, so like, what were they trying to say with that?
They're being inclusive, but then also they don't let Sonya Deville actually be that face. Well, how come Sonya Deville can't be the face, or Jake Atlas be the face?
Well, Sonya Deville, she's in a management position, so
I mean she wasn't for the past however many years, 5 years.
I mean, but she was on Total Divas, so we know. We know.
We're just supposed to assume.
If you saw the show, then you know.
Okay. That's everybody. All millions and millions of people.
They played recaps on Raw. If you were watching Raw or SmackDown, you knew.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Carmelo Hayes, a fan of Carmelo Anthony, do we think?
Maybe.
Possibly. I had some Carmelo Anthony's back in the day.
Good for you.
What do you mean good for
me?
I'm
more of a Dwayne Wade guy.
Okay. As I look back on my life, I had some Jordans. Those were my first pair of shoes back in the day. Back in what was it like 96, yes sir. And then some Carmelo Anthony's, and that was it for the basketball trend for your boy.
Well, in the main event, we got MSK defending their tag team titles against Legado del Fantasma, and MSK gets.
What does MSK stand for?
I have no idea.
Marijuana smoking crew, marijuana smoking kids.
Do they say that? How are you just inferring that, Phillip?
Oh no, it's a given fact. It's one of those two.
Okay. Because it's green.
No. Because they've hinted at it. Yeah.
Anyways, the marijuana smoking kids defeat Legado del Fantasma to retain their tag team titles. LDF doesn't exactly roll off the tongue that well. They had some chances, possibly could have won the titles, even though if you think about it for too long, you didn't think they would actually win. But they came close. MSK gets the win once again. The crowd, not exactly 100% behind MSK, but in the end, they get the win. Probably we're only a couple weeks away from TakeOver, and they're going to probably defend it in some multi-man tag match because that's what NXT does now with their tag division.
Bronson Reed getting involved. I wanted after Santos Escobar lost the cruiserweight title. I'm like, all right, we need to get to the North American title picture, and then we need to get to the NXT title picture, like a gradual climb. Man, I'm a fan of that. I say Bronson. I say like let them stretch it out, man. Like let's say Bronson drops it to Santos at a Takeover War Games, bro. I'm a fan. I'm not opposed to that.
I mean, I'm all for it. I want to see what they can do with Bronson in that title picture because they haven't exactly. He's had such a stop and start push to begin with, and so let's give him a little bit of time to breathe, develop the character, and see how much he can get over.
Absolutely. All right, Brandon Superstar Spotlight. Who do we got? I'm gonna give it to Adam Cole, baby. The return, the promo. He's so freaking special. I just love it. I love it. You know why? You know what they do to make him special, Brandon? They ring the freaking bell. I love that.
It's crazy.
You know what they do to make me feel special? They hit record. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, for my superstar spotlight, I'm going to go down the AEW route, and I will go with someone who I thought had a spectacular double or nothing, and I will go with Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston, once again, I think that match with the Young Bucks, I think most people will put a lot of the praise on Moxley and the Young Bucks, but I'm going to give some love to Eddie Kingston, who just continues to, when he's in these types of matches, and he, the Moxley match wasn't exactly the best one in the world, but I think this was probably by far his best match in AEW, and just the sympathy he's able to garner, and also the hot tag that he got from Moxley worked all the way around.
Brandon, tell us about a promo pick of the week.
Well, our promo pick of the week, we're going to go back in time to 2014, where Tommy End is standing very Aleister Blackish, where he's just kind of standing in a smoky room. He has a button-down shirt and a tie, and he's calling out a big Van Walter, or just Walter, and he just cuts like a very straightforward promo about how he's going to beat Walter, and it's something that we never really saw in WWE. So if you just type in Tommy End promo, it's kind of, the title is all weird. It's like a bunch of letters and numbers, but if you see it, very good promo. It's not going to set the world on fire by any means, but I think it's just a little glimpse on what you can see from Tommy End on his new run post WWE.
Guys, if you look it up, it is SDS semicolon 914-25152-118-8574. All those numbers, and you'll find it. He's wearing a white shirt with a black tie. Yes, sir. All right, my closed match pick of the week, Team Angle, which is Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas going up against Los Guerreros, which is Eddie and Chavo. And what? No, my bad. It's Team Angle, Shelton and Charlie going up against Eddie and Tajiri. Good stuff.
Yeah, this is prime SmackDown 6 or whatever, how many people they said, but this era SmackDown, kind of nostalgic for me. First time, watching it or getting whatever, because I wasn't exactly watching the pay-per-views back in the day because I was just a little broke kid. Mommy wouldn't buy all the pay-per-views for me to WrestleMania 20, but really solid tag title ladder match from these guys. A lot of movement and pretty much what you would expect. It's 4 pros out there, and it's phenomenal.
WWE is they're celebrating 50 years of tag teams. What's your favorite tag team?
My favorite WWE tag team, it has to be Kane and Dana Bryan.
Okay. Outside of that, it's Reno Scum, though.
Well, they never wrestled in WWE. They never made it to the
I said outside of WWE, it's Reno Scum.
I'd probably go with the Young Bucks.
They're in your top 3. You don't have to lie. We know. I'm gonna go Hardys, man. Come on, Jeff and Matt throwing their bodies on the line for tag team gold. You gotta love it. Edge and Christian's up there. Dudley's obviously they're up there, man. I was a big Miz and Morrison fan back in the Dizzy. I'm not gonna lie. I was really a big fan of Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. I thought they did some good work together. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to end this. Follow us on Twitter at BulletCast, Instagram, The Bulletcast, YouTube channel, The Bulletcast, email is BulletCast2, as in the number 2, sweet as WET@gmail.com, 107 or 104.7 FM KAPU in Watsonville every Friday night from 11 p.m. to midnight. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, Patreon, all over the damn place. The Friday night recap of Dynamite will be coming up soon. I have an interview I'm conducting Friday night. I'm excited about that. That's going to be really good. So guys, stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, get vaccinated, do all that stuff. Diamonds are forever.
Wow.
So is the microphone Messiah. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Fuck them niggas who wait. Yeah. Now we sounding sweet. Go. Fuck them niggas who hate. Duck them bitches who fake. Everybody is real and everybody two-face. Hill, face. Hill, face. Hill. Wait. Fuck them niggas who hate. Duck them bitches who fake. You could be a earth.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.